Last verse. In my dreams, I can hear the sound of thunder. I can see the causeway by the big hotel. And every day we'll find each other on that corner shore. You'll run in your umbrella and you'll walk between the raindrops back to the door. You gotta nail it. Just gotta stick the ending. All right, let me go. All right, so let's talk about this intro. This is not simple, but it's a lot of fun, especially if you can get it, because it sounds just like the keyboard, the synthesizer that Fagen's using, and it's just got a really cute little melody line going through it. And so I will tell you right now that this intro is about 20 chords long, so hold on to your seat. But the first two chords are just simple. You're going with a C, and then you're going with this B minor 7. And if you're not used to that inversion, I'm just going to put that up. But this is a minor 7 inversion. These minor 7 inversions sound great, and I use them all over the place, like in Deacon Blues and a lot of the SteelyDave songs. They sound much better than like an E minor 7 here. Use this E minor 7 instead of this E minor 7 or this one. This one just has a really different flavor to it. In any event, this is a B minor 7 if you drop that all the way back here and you're hitting your open string here. So you're going C. And so you're going to just hit these little notes. You're just basically, so you're D, so the C, D, C, C, D, C, but you're going off the chords. Then your B minor 7, again rake it, and then take this D, just D, E, F, and then when you hit that open E again, you're on the B flat 9 chord with that high E, which is a 5. Okay, so now you're going to run some chords pretty quick here, and these are very, very cool. It's going to be a C7, so C major 7, I'm sorry. And so I'm just hitting these two notes. And then I'm going to throw in the 9, so it's a C9, C add 9. So we're going basically 8 chords in a row here. We're going to go. Into that F13. And just a quick note about 13s. You can play 13s like this, or you can play them like this. So this finger here can be here or here, and sometimes this sounds right, and sometimes this sounds better. They both sound right. But anyway, just so if you see me going back and forth between this 13 and this 13, that's what I'm doing. And I'll explain that later. But if you're familiar with theory, just take a second and you'll figure out why you can do this 13 and this 13 and they both work. Anyway, so the walk down is just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it's your F. Okay? And so those chords are the A minor, the C major 7. And if I start here, I could just drop down the C add 9. So I go, and then this chord here, believe it or not, is just a it's just your B minor 7 with a sharp 5. And so what you're doing is you're taking your B minor 7 that we just showed you, but you're putting the sharp 5 down there. So you're just doing that. And you can get away with barring this. So sometimes I'll just do that to make it easy. And then I'm just dropping down to like E7 sharp 9. This is your, but I'm throwing the B flat in the bass. Now you don't have to put the B flat in the bass, but I kind of like the way that it goes. So it's, I like that sound. And then you're just going A minor 7, A flat minor 7, G flat minor, G minor 7, G flat 13, and then into the F13. Okay? So you can go, or you can go. Anyway, I choose to start here because I'm going. And so that brings us to the second part of this intro, because we're still not done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this F13, which is going to kind of introduce the C6-9 chord, which is going to be just like, and then the D minor 9 and the D minor 9 over the G bass, which are sort of core to the song, but here we're just kind of playing them in a different manner. So after we do the song is not yet started. We have not gotten into the verse yet. So we're going to take this thing and we're going to go F13 to the C6-9. So we're giving the C6-9 about 3/4 of the measure, and then we're going to just throw in this A7 with the sharp 5. So this is your A7 sharp 5, just a beautiful dissonant chord, and you can do it up here or you can do it down here. And as I showed you before, there's this E7 sharp 9. You can play that here or you can play that up here. But just for the sake of argument at the beginning here, I'm just going to start off with this. So you're going to go, after you do your C, walk down, F, C6-9, A7 sharp 5, and then you're going to go into your first, you're going to introduce that D minor 9, which is the key to the whole song. Just these two notes. But then you're going to throw in the G. And then you're going to do this beautiful little walk down, 4 straight chords in a row. You're going to go to C6-9, F13, and then you're going to do your E7 sharp 9 here or here, to the A7 with the sharp 5. So you can go, so the whole thing sounds like this. E7 sharp 9 to the E to the A7 sharp 5, which you could also be playing here. So you could do these E7 sharp 9 to the A7 sharp 5 here, or you can do it here. I kind of like it down here because it just, for me, that's when you sort of jump out of your open chords or your first position and just kind of hit it hard and give it a little bit of accents and some oomph. And I play a lot of songs solo, so when you're playing by yourself, you get your fuller flavor. You take your choice. So anyway, again, just real quickly from the beginning, the intro starts with this C, B minor 7, to the B flat 9, the flat of 5, and then you're going to start with your C major 7, C add 9, B minor 7 sharp 5, to that E7 sharp 9 over the B flat, okay? And then you're going to go A minor 7, A flat minor 7, G minor 7, G flat 13 to the G flat, I mean to the F13 to the C6-9, and just hammering in that A sharp 5, A7 sharp 5, just right before you switch to the D minor 9, and then add your G. Then your C. Then you're going to do this 4 more chords, real quick succession: C6-9, F13, and I like this one here better than this one here for some reason. And then you can do your, you can do that E7 sharp 9 down here into the beautiful dominant A7 sharp 5 here or here. All right, so. And that's the first verse on the D minor 9. A shadow across the blue Miami sky. All right. All right, so we're going to do this verse 1 now. So verse 1, you've seen a lot of these chords. So it's just going to start with that D minor 9, which you'll be playing here, and then you're going to add the G in the bass. And you can do that here. Or you can do it here. Okay? And then you're going to go to your C6-9. Alright? And then the first verse is different than verse 2 and 3. So we'll talk about how it's different. The first part is the same. So this first part is just the D minor 9. A shadow across the blue Miami sky. I know it says C6, but it's really a C6-9. As we hit the causeway, just a G minor 7 by C9, and you get through the 13. The big hotels. So this is just a beautiful chord, and they use this a lot. This also shows up in Deacon Blues and some other songs. But anyway, this is an F sharp 7 with a sharp 5 and a flatted 9, okay? I'm not going to bore you with the theory and what each note is, but if you go through and look at this, we're going there, 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 and you'll see the diagram up in the corner there. Down in the corner, I think is where I'm putting it. Anyway, there you go. So it's just a beautiful chord. Hotels. And I'm just playing my little typical major 7 here. Hotels. All right. Now this is where there's usually like a little turnaround with an F13 to a B or B flat. So on the first go round, what they do is he does the F13 to this B7 sharp 9 flat 5. But all you really have to do is you can just make a plain old B7. Okay? You don't have to make anything fancy if you don't want. I'm just doing this 7 with the sharp 5 and the flat 9 because it sounds like the flavor that he's using on the mix. Anyway, so again, a shadow across the blue Miami sky as we hit the causeway by the big hotel. And then the turnaround, F13, B7. We fought. Now, this only happens in verse 1, and these are the same chords as under the solo. So if you review my solo lesson, you'll see that they play verse 1 under the solo. We fought, just an E minor 7. I'm just using the one finger, E minor 7. We fought. And then back to your D minor. Now I can. So just a real short D minor 9 to the D minor 9 with a G in the bass. We fought. Now I can't read. And then this is where it gets very clever. This only happens one time in the song, but it's just a beautiful little 4-chord run, very quickly. Remember why, after all. So what we're doing here is you're going C major 7 to that F sharp 7 again with the sharp 5 flat 9. And then we're going to a G minor 7 to a C9. And this is really kind of a typical jazz turnaround. And again, you're going, we fought. Now I can't remember why. After all the words we said, the tears were gone. We thought we'd never say goodbye. All right, so this is just a really cool, clever little jazz progression. with a lot of chords. And some of these you could probably get away with not playing. I think you could probably skip this one here, and I'll show you where you could skip it, but you know, because it's a tough chord. And, but you realize that you could flatten this middle finger out, because when you're doing this, you're flattening your pinky. So anyway, I found that chord a little difficult to play when I first started playing it. But anyway, let's talk about this. So it goes, we fought, now I can. And so it's real quick. So you know, when you start this, a shadow across the blue, this is a little bit faster. So we fought, now I can. Now this is 4 chords in a row. Remember why, after all the words were said. Okay, so that's a C major 7, and this is that F sharp 7, sharp 9, flat 5, which you can just do an F7 if you want, maybe, and an F sharp 7, and or skip it. You could just remember why, and then you're gonna just go after all the, and then you're on your F major 7. What was said? And here's where it gets kind of really clever. You only do this once, just verse 1, and then you do it again under the solo. The tears were gone. So it's just an A minor 7 to the A9. I mean to the D9. The tears were gone. And then you're going to reach up here, just move these fingers up and make this an E minor 9. We vowed we'd never, A13. This is a dominant 13 as opposed to the major. Never say goodbye to the G13. Alright? And so that's just really clever. We fought. Now I can't remember why. After all the words were said, the tears were gone. We vowed we'd never say goodbye when we kissed. Verse 2, not verse 3. All right, so verse 2 is going to be the same as verse 3, and so except for the finale. But anyway, when we kissed starts the same. D minor 9, throw in the G. We could hear the sound of thunder as we watched the regulars rush the big hotel. Now here you can do a different turnaround. You can do the same turnaround with that F13. But actually I think it sounds better if you go, so you're just doing a C9 to a B flat 9. And this is just a quick little measure of a turnaround. So as we watch the regulars rush the big hotel. So in verse 1 you went, but here you're going to go, as we watch the regulars rush the big hotels. And you're going to go, we kissed again. So this is different now, and this is easier really, because you're going to take the C major 7, but this time you're going to strum it out for a measure. We kissed again. As the shower. So this time you're going G minor to the F7, F sharp 7, right? And then you're on your F major 7 to the F minor 7 with the B flat and the bass. So that's just basically like your 11 chord, okay? Just straight down the line, these 5 strings, okay? But it has a beautiful little dissonant sound. So again, here the 4 chord walk down is a little bit displaced. So in your first verse, you know, you do this fast walk down where you go. Here, what you're going to be doing is, we kissed again. And then your 4 chords. As the showers swept the shore. And then this is the I guess you would call it the refrain. You open your umbrella. Now here what I'm doing is I'm just playing the C major 7 to the E minor 7 flat 5 to the A7 with the sharp 5. And you're going to do that again, but you're going to change the timing. So you're going to go, you open your umbrella. So you're going straight from the C major 7 to the E minor 7 flat 5 to the A7 sharp 5. And then you're going to go, and we walk to the D minor, between the raindrops with the G, back to your dawn. So it lasts a little longer this time. So you're doing the same E minor 7 flat 5 to the A7 sharp 5, but the timing's a little bit different. So you open your umbrella, between the raindrops and dawn. We walk between the raindrops back to dawn. Well, Miami, and then we're going to go into the solo. Okay, and the solo again is going to be the first verse. You're going to go. And we'll talk about that in the solo lesson, but not here. So anyway, the thing to notice is that this is kind of the refrain or the chorus or whatever you want to talk about it. So it's, you know, open your umbrella, and we walk between the raindrops back to dawn. Between the raindrops back to dawn. Now, the other way you can play this, and especially if you're playing by yourself, but even in a band with the company, you know, it depends. You got one keyboardist, one other guitarist. It depends. Even in a full band, if you're, you know, just so you know, I often play shell voicings. If you know what those are, if you don't, just Google it, because you don't want to muddy up the waters if there's a heavy-handed keyboardist or something playing lots of the colorful notes. You can just do shell voicings. But anyway, if you're by yourself, you go the opposite direction. So there's this is the E minor 7 flat 5 down here, and this is that A7 sharp 5 I was showing you before. So before we, you know, remember we did that 7 sharp 9 to that, but here it's going to be the minor 7 flat 5. So this is the E minor 7 flat 5, and this is your A7 sharp 5. But you can do that down here. So let me just show you how you can mess around with that one because it sounds great. You open your, so we start on the C major 7. You open your umbrella, and we walk between the raindrops back to your dawn. And what I like about that is you can hit that. And again, you can do that in both places, but you could like do the, on the first one, you open your umbrella, or you could go, you open your umbrella. But I like doing it with first open position first. Open your umbrella, and we walked between the raindrops back to your. So you know that's just going to be heavier and more accented because you're getting that big open E and you're just getting a fuller sound the second go round, okay? And obviously you don't do that unless you really want to wake up the audience. But you're going, so you roll and we walked between the raindrops back to your dawn. We walked between the raindrops back to your dawn. Okay, we'll talk about that in the other lesson. That's already been posted. Anyway, let's go to verse 3 here. So verse 3 is pretty much identical. In my dreams, I can hear the sound of thunder. I can see the causeway by the hotel. And then again, this walk around, we're going to do the same one here. That happy day. I can see the causeway by the big hotel. And then I'm doing the walk around. That happy day. Again, we're doing the C major 7. We'll find each other on that Florida shore. Right? And then we're going to go C major again. You'll open your umbrella and we'll walk the raindrops back to your dawn. And then this is where you get into the ending and the crescendo, and it's a little bit different. All right? All right, so let's just look at this ending a little bit closer. So basically you're doing your usual thing, the chorus or refrain or whatever you call it. You open, I'm sorry, C major 7. You open your, so real short on the C major 7, straight to the E minor 7 flat 5 to the A7. You opened your umbrella and we walked between the raindrops back to your door. You could go. And then we walked between the raindrops. And then here we go to that E minor, E flat minor 9 to the A flat 13. Between the raindrops. Between the raindrops. We walked between the raindrops back till dawn. And so that walk down, you're going to have to listen to it. You know, it's just kind of a jazz swing kind of thing. Really funky timing. You got to listen to it, love it, and then you'll learn it. But anyway, it's I'm not going to go over the timing here, but you're going. So that's just an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to an F sharp minor flat 5, and then you're playing this, which is kind of a little E11, E flat 11, E flat 11, and then this is a D flat major 7 flat at 5 to the C, and you're ending on the D, on the C major 7 flat 5. So just kind of picture your C major 7, and then you're just, there's your C right there, there's your 5, you're dropping it and flattening it. So you 1 flatted 5, and that's the idea. The song. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit subscribe and like. Thank you so much for watching.